Pleiadian Souls. If you are a Pleiadian soul, relationships have always felt like the center of your life, not one area among many. You orient yourself through connection, through emotional resonance, through the invisible threads between people. Even when you focus on work, goals, or daily routines, your inner world is constantly reading the relational field around you. From an early age, you sensed others deeply. You noticed shifts in mood before words were spoken. You felt responsibility for harmony, for comfort. You learned how to soften tension, how to listen between the lines, how to adapt yourself so others would feel at ease. Love for you was never abstract. It was something you lived through your body and nervous system. Your lived experience is one of empathy and presence. People often feel seen with you, understood, accepted. They open up easily. They bring their vulnerability, their confusion, and you receive it naturally, without effort. Caring does not exhaust you at first. It feels meaningful. It feels right. At the same time, there has always been a quiet confusion inside. You give warmth, but do not always feel fully held. You create closeness, but sometimes lose your own center within it. You may notice that your needs become secondary without a conscious decision, that you adjust your pace, your preferences, your direction to preserve connection. Pleiadian souls often struggle to separate love from merging. You feel safest when bonds are close, emotionally transparent, intertwined. Distance feels unsettling. Conflict feels dangerous. Disconnection feels like loss of self. Because of this, you may tolerate situations that slowly drain you, simply to keep the relational field intact. You carry a deep longing for mutuality, for shared presence where no one disappears, for relationships where care flows in both directions without negotiation. Yet many of your experiences have taught you to be the emotional container, rather than the equal participant. If this resonates, it is not coincidence. It is recognition. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is the language your soul learned first. This video was created within the Starseed Soul Project, a system developed to bring clarity to emotional and relational patterns that are often romanticized or misunderstood. It is not a belief system. It is a framework for recognizing how sensitivity, bonding, and inner structure interact over time. For Pleiadian souls, this recognition is especially important because empathy often replaces self-definition. The core relationship pain for this soul is emotional overgiving. You love through attune. You feel others so deeply that their needs begin to register as your own. You adjust instinctively. You soften, wait, adapt, and hold space long before anyone asks you to. And slowly, without drama, your center moves outward. You rarely enter relationships to take. You enter to connect, to support, to harmonize. But this often attracts partners who are less emotionally available, less regulated, or less willing to meet you in equal presence. They lean, you hold. They receive, you remain attentive. This creates a repeating relational destiny. You become the emotional anchor, the listener, the one who understands, the one who forgives quickly and explains patiently. You may stay in connections where your warmth is constant, but your needs remain unspoken or unmet, not because you do not know what you want, but because you fear that expressing it might disrupt the bond. Over time, this pattern creates quiet depletion, not explosive heartbreak, but a gradual loss of vitality. You may feel tired without knowing why, less inspired, less clear, as if parts of you are slowly dissolving into the relationship field. You may also notice that you confuse closeness with safety. That distance feels threatening even when it is healthy. That conflict feels like abandonment rather than communication. And so you work harder to preserve harmony, even at personal cost. Many Pleiadian souls remain in these loops for years, believing that love means accommodation, that care means endurance, that sensitivity must always move outward, never inward. This is not because you lack boundaries. It is because your system was trained to prioritize connection before self-anchoring. This pattern is not random. In the Starseed soul system, relationships move through different frequencies, and not all of them are designed to be merged or emotionally intertwined at all times. Some connections are meant to teach balance. Some are meant to show where care turns into self-loss. For Pleiadian souls, understanding this difference is essential. You are not designed to disappear inside love. You were designed to experience connection without dissolving your center. Understanding this does not mean becoming colder or less caring. It means learning where empathy ends and self-presence begins. It means recognizing that harmony cannot exist if one person is quietly erasing themselves. This same dynamic often appears in money and material life. Pleiadian souls frequently struggle not because they lack talent or dedication, but because material goals feel secondary to emotional well-being. You may postpone financial decisions to avoid conflict. You may undercharge to keep relationships comfortable. You may avoid asserting value because it feels disruptive or confrontational. Money can feel emotionally loaded. Asking for more can feel like asking for too much. Receiving can feel uncomfortable if it creates imbalance or obligation. You may unconsciously equate material stability with emotional distance, believing that needing less keeps you more connected. Because of this, finances often remain unstable or dependent on others. You may rely on partners, family, or inconsistent streams of support rather than claiming your own grounded structure. Not because you cannot create it, but because you associate independence with separation. This creates an inner conflict around value and embodiment. You know you bring immense emotional intelligence, care, and relational skill, but you struggle to anchor that value into form, into pricing, into boundaries, into clear material presence. Part of you wants to be fully supported. Another part fears that support will cost closeness, so you hover in between, giving freely, receiving cautiously, and never fully landing inside your own life. Until this conflict is resolved, relationships and money will mirror the same lesson. Where does care turn into self-neglect? Where does harmony replace truth? And where does embodiment feel unsafe simply because it changes the dynamic? This is not a failure of sensitivity. It is an invitation to bring that sensitivity home. The shadow point of the Pleiadian soul is not weakness. It is the fear of standing apart. Deep inside, there is an avoided truth that separation feels dangerous, that choosing yourself might fracture connection, that asserting needs could dissolve love. Because of this, you may silence yourself before conflict arises. You may feel discomfort when you sense your own desires pulling you in a different direction than the relationship. You may soften your truth, delay decisions, or minimize your needs to preserve emotional closeness, not because you lack clarity, but because you associate safety with harmony. This shadow often hides behind kindness, behind patience, behind understanding, but underneath it lives a quiet grief. The grief of not being fully met because you are not fully present as yourself. The grief of intimacy that feels warm but incomplete. The turning point for the soul comes when you realize that maturity is not emotional fusion. It is emotional presence with self-anchoring. You begin to see that love does not require self-abandonment. That connection does not collapse when you take up space. That honesty does not destroy bonds that are meant to last. As this realization settles, something begins to shift. You allow yourself to stay present during discomfort. You speak even when your voice trembles. You tolerate the temporary tension that comes with truth. And you discover that real intimacy deepens rather than breaks under clarity. In its integrated expression, the Pleiadian soul becomes a source of grounded compassion. You no longer dissolve into others. You meet them. You offer empathy without losing form, care without self-sacrifice, warmth without disappearance. Your relationships become places of mutual presence rather than emotional merging. You attract partners who can hold their own emotional field. You no longer carry the bond alone. Connection becomes shared, not maintained by you. This is your higher expression. Sensitivity anchored in selfhood. Love that includes you. empathy that flows both ways. When relationships matter, logic and energy align. You stop protecting harmony at the cost of truth and begin living inside connections that can hold all of you. If this resonates, you can explore your Starseed soul origin through the portal 11.11. The portal offers a gentle entry into self-recognition without forcing conclusions. It allows you to see your relational patterns clearly, without labeling you or asking you to change who you are. For Pleiadian souls, clarity must feel safe. The portal is designed with that sensitivity in mind. For those who feel ready to go deeper, there are activation transmissions created for each origin. These are not practices you must perform correctly. They are soft attunements, guided experiences that help your nervous system recalibrate and return to its natural rhythm. They support grounding without hardening, presence without emotional shutdown, and embodiment without loss of warmth. Stay here for a moment. Let your breath settle inside your body. You do not need to reach outward right now. You do not need to care for anyone else in this space. You are allowed to receive without giving. You have spent much of your life holding emotional fields together, sensing what others need before they ask, adjusting yourself to preserve closeness, and in doing so, you learned to associate love with vigilance. You were never meant to disappear inside connection. You were meant to meet it fully. Your sensitivity was not given to dissolve you. It was given to deepen shared presence. When you allow yourself to stay embodied, something changes. Relationships stop depending on your constant emotional labor. Money stops feeling like a threat to closeness. Energy stops leaking outward and returns to nourish you. This is the transmission of the Pleiadian soul. Soft strength, grounded empathy, connection that includes selfhood. You are not here to protect harmony at any cost. You are here to live inside truth that can still feel kind. Your origin has always known this balance. It carries the memory of connection without self-loss. And your destiny is not to merge until you disappear, but to remain fully yourself, while loving deeply, clearly, and without leaving your own center.